What's going on, guys? Chansuke here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like one of the major downfalls for Battlefield 4 was the insane amount of content in the game. This means from the customization for soldiers, to the amount of guns and gadgets, to maybe even the dog tags. When you say if DICE didn't include so much stuff in the game at launch, then maybe, just maybe, they would have more time to optimize the game to run better, at least on par with Battlefield 3, and maybe even fix the netcode. See, now I do understand that EA and DICE is in the first person shooter market, meaning fans would probably want more guns, new features, and more vehicles and new maps. It's just that, in my opinion, I have always felt that quality is always better than quantity. Take for example, as you guys probably know, there are lots, and I mean lots, of guns in Battlefield 4. To be exact, at the moment of recording this video, there are 81 guns to choose from. I repeat, 81 guns. What game has 81 guns? And not to mention, this list is guaranteed to increase in number as the final 2 DLCs comes out. Plus, those are just the primary weapons, not pistols or launchers. I mean, there are so many guns in the game which sometimes I don't even know which one I want to use, let alone to pick. The best way to show you this is just by comparing the Scar H with the new AR-160 assault rifle released in the Naval Strike DLC. Long story short, the Scar H is basically the better version of the AR-160. They do have the same recoil pattern, but the AR-160 just has a bit higher rate of fire, while the Scar H has a much quicker killing time. Most people, if they base their judgment purely on stats, would probably tell you they would rather use the Scar H because they just want to drop people down faster. So in a way, in my opinion, I feel like there's almost no point of actually having the AR-160 around, because it's just basically a suckier version of the Scar H. And look, I don't hate the AR-160, I'm just saying this is one of the many examples in Battlefield 4 where guns are just kind of pointless. It's not just the assault rifles, the carbines have it just as bad. The G36C, which is actually one of my favorite guns in Battlefield 3, suffers really badly even after the patch where they try to buff it up a bit, and it is still outclassed by a lot of other carbines. And since they aren't the best guns in the category, most of the time they are never used. Guns like the Ace-23, the M416, and the AEK just dominates the user base. So to me, I'm like, what's the point of coding these guns and designing them and actually spend time making them when people just turn out not to use them? I just don't see it. But maybe at the same time, if the community don't demand such content, then maybe they won't make so many things which will just waste their time. But as you all would probably expect, that will never ever happen. This is also the same case with me with the gadgets, but this time I feel like DICE is also starting to run out of ideas. I mean, come on, helicopter mines? Really? Is that the best they can think of? I would again rather them not make anything and actually spend time improving the core gameplay itself, than rather make something that is so pointless which no one will ever use after the first 2 days of the DLC release, because in my opinion this is all just basically hype. It is just something which I'm starting to get really sick and tired of. I can right now probably name on top of my head of all the gadgets which are pretty pointless in my opinion. First, starting off with all the different types of grenade launchers for the assault class, which I think except for the HE and the LVG, which only those two are kinda used and the rest are kinda in the back burner, sitting there, no one really uses it, and I didn't even feel like DICE should have included them in the beginning of the game. Plus the Th3, which no one ever uses, and I only used it once or twice when I wanted to record footage, and the rest of the time I just left it. I also think the M26 in general, it's pretty useless. Last time I probably got killed by it was in the beta, which was a while ago, and I just feel like the M26 either A, needs a buff, or B, there's no point of making them. The EOD bot is pretty useless in a way. I haven't actually seen a lot of people use that thing for what it's designed for, to arm MCOMs and destroy enemy equipment, because going by infantry is probably a much better route than actually arming the MCOM with an EOD bot. The mortar is pretty annoying, that's why I don't think should be in the game in general. The MPAPS kind of just sits there and no one really uses it except for maybe Operation Locker and Metro. The UCAV, the MAV, and the SUAV are all kind of just sitting there. I do see people use the MAV, but I don't think it helps that much. These gadgets, in my opinion, are junk. They're sitting there in the corner waiting to be picked up and used, but that will never happen. So to anyone that actually use these gadgets, I'm actually not hating on them. I respect that you use them. You play the game however you want to play, and I respect that. But in my opinion, I'm just like, what's the point of making them? DICE is just wasting resources and man hours, which are probably much needed in other departments. And not everything is bad. With the grenades, I would probably rather stick with only one type of explosive grenade, the M67 frag. The other two can just get very annoying and spammy, which just doesn't help with the already annoying explosive spamming. But things like the incendiary, smoke, flash, and the flare are somewhat innovative and actually good at certain situations, so props to those. In general, there is just too much content in Battlefield 4 in my opinion. Almost an unhealthy amount in a video game actually. I don't want to dive too deep into this because I know I'll never be able to stop and this video will drag on to like 30 minutes long. I have never said that you can have too many guns in the game, but Battlefield 4 really made me change my mind. I just really hope DICE or whichever company in the future makes the next Battlefield game will understand this and will not make the same mistake as they did in Battlefield 4. Not always more means better. In this case, more means worst. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this video didn't come across as hate. I'm just trying to express my opinions and I'm sure a lot of you guys might agree with me. So tell me in the comments down below, would you agree with me or not? Or do you think the customization was needed? Thanks for watching guys. Peace out.